Is it true there was a lot of moonshining going on in this area?
I can't say whether there's a lot. I only knew this one bootlegger, and it was their daddy and Dub Pace, and they were big-time bootleggers, and they scared the fire out of us a lot of times. My brothers were big coon hunters and possum hunters, and they'd put me in a tree or somewhere and because I couldn't keep up with them.
So they put you in a tree?
Yeah, and say, we'll come back and get you now. If you get down, a dog will get you. So,
how long would you stay up in a tree?
Till they come back, and it might be an hour, it might be 2 or 3. But one time there was a fire down next to number 1 switch, and they thought I had got burned up. And there was a man that lived right here in the edge of town that had died. And that's back when people went and set up with the dead. And Mom and Daddy was setting up with the dead. And he told us to stay at the house. Of course, we never done what we were supposed to most of the time. And they decided they wanted to go hunting. So they took me up there and put me in a tree. And when Claude and Dub come up through there, I talk and everything, that scared me to death. Because you could tell they were about drunk, just falling around all over each other. And then here come my brothers, and they were upset. What was they going to tell Mom and Daddy? How was they going to tell Mom and Daddy that I had got burned up when we wasn't supposed to be out of the house? It was just, things like this is just...
So you were up in a tree, and you saw these bootleggers come by, and they're drunk, and they're falling all over each other.
Yeah.
Were they heading home, or heading to the still?
Yeah.
Or?
No, they was heading home.
From their still, probably. Yeah. And whereabouts was that still?
I don't...
kind of what general area, down the Melrose switch, or?
No, well, that's the way they were coming back up from. But this was... since you don't know places, it's hard to explain. It would have been off of, where the road is that went to the old city lake?
Down at the end of Patrick Street.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, out in that area and out to the left.
Okay.
Between the lake and the railroad.
Yeah.
So did people know to stay away from those areas? Because was it just sort of general knowledge who was doing it?
Well, everybody knew that they was doing it, but nobody went out there or anything unless they was. No, they didn't. There wasn't nothing, to go see or nothing. But boys hunting and stuff, they'll
run across it probably.
Yeah.
Well, Faye, now how did they find out was you still up in that tree when it was burning?
But it was below me, but see, they couldn't remember.
They didn't know where they left you.
Right. And we went up all the way home. I'm following them because they had lanterns. But I didn't say anything. I just kept following them, and they're trying to make up what they're going to tell Mom and Daddy. And when they didn't know I was behind them till we got all the way to the house. And then I told them I was going to tell them.
So they were talking about that you'd been burned up, and they were trying to figure out what to tell?
Yeah.
How did they think you got burned up?
Because the woods got on fire.
So they thought, did they think you did it?
No, they thought.
They left her in the woods.
They thought those drunks, the bootleggers.
Had set the woods on fire. Okay.
Yeah. So were they happy to see you?
Not really. They wanted to beat the fire out of me.
But they was relieved they didn't have to
I guess.
How old were you when you were up in that tree?
Oh, goodness. Well, I can remember Daddy was in the Army. He was in the Second World War. And I must have been about
6 years old?
Well,
you say you was born in 38?
Yeah.
And the war was over in 45?
Right. But this was after Daddy got out. But I can remember Daddy coming home on furlough after he finished basic training. I was in a big old pine tree up right below Miss Patterson's at the time he come home. Didn't know he was coming. And I saw Daddy coming down there, and I went to hollering, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." And he said, "What are you doing up there?" I said, Horace And Doc put me up here and told me if I got down, a dog would get me. He said, you come on down there. He said, wait till them boys come to the house.